So here we are, believe you me. Of course, I'm joined by the one, the only, the undisputed, no, the interim, soon to be undisputed, the interim heavyweight champion of the UFC, Tom Aspinall. I'm a huge fan, huge supporter, good friend. I'll get abuse in the comment section for kissing your ass, but I don't care. How the hell are you, Tom?
I'm doing well, thanks, Mike. Forget about the comment section. We're not bothered.
Oh.
We're happy. We're happy without them. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, thanks, mate. Everything is on track. I've obviously got a big fight coming up in 4 weeks' time or something like that. And working towards that, mate.
Yeah, the same old things, the old grind, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? But camp, all going well, no injuries, feeling good, feeling positive, and all that good stuff.
Well, what the fighters always say that, don't they? I'm not going to start.
Best shape of my life.
I'm not going to start telling you it's shit, am I? No, but it's good. It's actually genuinely. I'm doing things in the gym and reaching heights now that I've never really reached before, in all honesty. And I'm really happy with the way it's going so far. Yeah, happy with it.
Reaching new heights. Oh my God, what is this man capable of now? I'm out here in Vegas, Tom, UFC 303 International Fight Week. Of course, if you weren't fighting, you'd probably be out here, but you're at home, you're slogging away, you're going to the gym every day. What's new outside of the fight camp, mate?
In all honesty, Mike, nothing. It's just, you know what it's like? Well, once I've got a date, that's it. That's all I'm thinking about. Do you know what I mean? I'm just doing the regular stuff, training twice a day, in between training sessions, I'm sleeping. I'm just, that's it. Gym and sleep, mate. There's nothing. I don't know. For me personally, it's like I'm either all in or I'm not really in at all. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm fighting, I'm like, I want to be 100% in. Like I'm not focusing on anything else right now apart from beating Curtis Blaydes, and that's it. Yeah,
no, of course. With this being a rematch, Tom, you've been in there before. People, I forget who it was. Someone was talking to me recently, or maybe I saw a post saying what people don't. I think it might have been John Jones actually saying what people don't realize that Curtis was piecing him up in that first fight before he blew his knee out. That's not how I saw that. But coming into this one, with it being a rematch, with it being, call it 15 seconds, whatever it was, that's not enough time to really get a feel for the man. But how is the headspace and the emotions and all that type of stuff?
Well, this is actually the first rematch of my entire career, amateur and professional. I've never fought the same guy twice before. But, I mean, the first one wasn't really a fight. You can't really judge your 15 seconds and a quick exchange. And, I've trained for him before. I've done a full training camp for him before. So, obviously, I kind of studied him beforehand and I knew what to work towards beforehand. But, things have changed since then. It's been like 2 years now. I've had fights. He's had fights. There's been a lot, things change quick in MMA, as you know. So, there's more footage on him, there's more footage on me, and I'm in a completely different headspace now than I was then. And, I feel like the last fight, taking it on 2 weeks' notice in the worst circumstances possible and pulling that off, that's just given me so much confidence that I didn't have before. So I think it's, if he thinks he's going to be fighting the same person this time around, he's massively mistaken.
One thing, Tom, obviously when I was fighting, my career meant the world to me. So I would work my ass off and I would consistently overtrain. Given what you're saying here, do you monitor that? Do you have people around you to make sure that you're not overdoing it? Because I'm sure but people watching this might not realize overtraining can be worse than undertraining sometimes.
Definitely. And I do. I need people around me to tell me to back off sometimes. A couple of weeks ago, we didn't have a week off, but I had like a few days in Spain where I just went, spent a bit of time in the sun. I still trained when I was there and stuff, but like I was still 6 weeks away from a fight at the time, and I'd already done a lot of hard work by that point. So just trying to take my foot. I do need that, especially with fights like this, like big magnitude. Obviously, I really want to win this fight, and I'll do everything that I can to win it. But as you said, sometimes you can want it a little bit too much, especially being a big guy. Overtraining is quite easily done. Do you know what I mean? It especially when you're like me and I train with almost exclusively heavyweights now. It takes a lot out of the body, so you do have to be careful. But luckily, I've got some really, really good people around me who monitor that, and I need it. Because I fucking want this more than anything. And sometimes as well, when you start overtraining, you start getting tired, or at least I do. I start thinking, shit, I need to do more. I'm not fit enough here. I'm feeling tired all the time. I need to push my conditioning more, and it's not always the case.
Yeah, well, a great man, Jason Pereira, told me, and it took me a long time to realize this. He said, and I've said this many times, it takes confidence to take a day off. You know, because a lot of fighters are of the mindset, oh, you see them on social media, you see them training. I was talking to a fighter last week that shall remain nameless. He's got a fight coming up and he's like, this is driving me crazy. I'm here doing this and I see him on social media. I want to get back to the gym. I've got to get going. You know, and as to the original point, Jason Prillo was like, Mike, it takes confidence to say, I'm good. I'm trending above average. Everything's on track. I'm going to take a day off. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to have a nice little meal. You know, it takes a lot of confidence to do that, mate, which of course you do have. Curtis Blaydes, all the best of luck with that one, Tom. Of course, I'll be there commentating it. Very, very much looking forward to it. This is, we're beating a dead dog here, right? The John Jones stuff. What is the situation now? Is that all kind of died down? Are you over it? I mean, it is what it is. I saw you saying it's not going to define your legacy, but where is everything with that, Tom?
Honestly, I'm not really bothered about it at the moment. I'm just like Curtis Blaydes is all that really matters to me right now. I'm not really thinking about that. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. And for right now, yeah, all I'm thinking about, mate, is Curtis Blaydes. I know that's a boring answer. I know that people want me to smack talk, and some people don't. Some people, oh, stop crying about it, Tom. I'm like, I'm not crying about it. Every interview, people ask me about it, so I'm just choosing to, for right now, until this fight's out the way. And this is a very, very serious fight, a very big fight for me. So I'll be focused on Curtis Blaydes till the fight's over with.
Yeah, no, I know, and that is a boring answer, Tom. Let's be honest, but it's the correct answer. It is the correct answer because you're not even fighting him, but. Deal with Curtis Blaydes. That's the plan. You've got to think it's either Stipe or John next. And there would be some kind of madness if it wasn't.
Oh, like, if I win this one in impressive fashion, the next thing for me is undisputed. And there's no two ways around. I'm happy to wait or do whatever after that. Do you know what I mean? Like, this one was in Manchester and it was a rematch with Curtis Blaydes. So obviously I want to get that one back because I've got a loss to him. But yeah, after this one, mate, it has to be undisputed next because I deserve it.
Yeah, without question. Does that really feel like a loss, though, Tom? I know on the record it is, and you know that most real fans know what happened, right? So mentally to you, does it actually feel like a loss?
It says that I lost, so that means that I lost to me. Yeah, and I want to get it back. I'm so motivated to get it back. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, if it was a street fight, he would have been.
He would have been stamping on your head while you were rolling around the floor like a little baby, clutching your leg.
Exactly. So he won that one, and I'm happy to say that, and I'm happy to move on from it. Like I said, that was a long time ago now, and it's. I'm happy to get the opportunity to get the win back over him. Do you know what I mean? And I respect Curtis as well. Do you know what I mean? He's a good guy. He's got a great team around him. Really like solid human being. Nothing against him personally, but professionally, I owe him a beating. Yeah,
no, he's an awesome fella. You know what I mean? There's nothing to not like. I saw you guys last time. You guys were sharing a beer and stuff like that. So it's just competition. It is what it is. Speaking of street fights, Tom, right? The new arena. You're going to be stepping in that octagon at about 4:00 in the morning, I would say, something like that. You know, everyone's going to spill out 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a rowdy crowd. When I did the same thing at UFC 204, everybody was shit-faced. Yeah. It's going to be one hell of an atmosphere, mate.
I can only imagine what that walk's going to be like. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anything. I mean, I've headlined London a few times at this point. 3 times I've headlined the O2, and that's wild. And that's at 11 o'clock in London. Now in Manchester at 5 a.m. I just can't even. I can't even imagine. Like, I feel like that's like a starter. If you're talking about if you're talking about this being the steak dinner, that's like some shitty starter that you get, the O2 Arena in comparison.
Yeah. That's your amuse-bouche.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I feel like nothing is preparing me for that one.
No, exactly. Well, best of luck, mate. I'm going to be there. It's going to be incredible. Where does somebody go at 6 o'clock in the morning when the fights finish? What's the plan, Tom? Have you got like a little bougie brunch, a few mimosas, a bit of champagne with your bacon and egg? What is the plan in your mind mentally? Because when I did it, I had tons of plans. And all we did was we went back to the hotel room, we had a few beers, we celebrated, and then we all fell asleep, But what are you doing afterwards if you get the win that you plan?
At the moment, I don't even know. I was thinking the same. Like, there's quite like after I won the UFC interim heavyweight world title, I had the shittest after party ever. Like, it was like 3 a.m. in New York, something. By the time I got done with media, I was walking around. They said, call it the city that never sleeps, mate. Nowhere was open. Everyone was asleep. Couldn't find anywhere open. Ended up in some dive bar, like just off Times Square until about 5 a.m. Couple of drinks, no one was there. Then we went to bed. So this time I've not got my hopes up for anything. I don't know, mate. Usually I like to think, I'll go to bed and I'll get on the booze and that the next day, but I can never sleep after my fights. You know what I mean? My adrenaline's pumping that much. It takes me about 2 days, 3 days before I start to, settle back into normal life after a fight. So I don't know. Is the honest. I might get Weatherspoons or something for breakfast.
We'll figure it out, Tom. We'll figure it out because what I'm doing when I get there. Because I'm just doing my flights right now and I'm debating: do I fly back Sunday or do I fly back Monday? And I think I'm going to fly back Monday and have a little bit of fun afterwards. Geez, let me see, Tom. So Tom Aspinall is now the interim heavyweight champion of the world. Tom Aspinall's got a lot going on. You're stealing my jobs, Tom. I know you're doing, what is it, the Fight Lab? You're doing big things on TNT Sports.
Oh, yeah, we got Tom Aspinall's Fight Lab once a month before the... so it's like they play it on TNT Sports 6 days before the numbered events. And they play it every night. Every night. Oh, thanks, mate. I appreciate it. Obviously, I'm new to the job. Do you know what I mean? It's brand new. It's brand new stuff for me. It's new territory. But I'm enjoying it. As a fighter, if you can't talk about fighting, like, what can you talk about? Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it's a bit of an unusual show in the fact that we have a celebrity guest on every time and a different celebrity guest every time. There's me and Catterall, and we do like visual breakdowns as well as like a breakdown on the board. We pointing all the stuff out, and we just generally talk about the fights. It's a good time. We have fun with it.
It's way easier when you've got somebody there and you can do a visual breakdown, because it's very hard. Like when we're sitting here like this and we're talking about fights and we're doing a post reaction or whatever, to try and paint the picture verbally is very hard. But when you can grab hold of someone and show the head position and do this, the underhook and all whatever, so much easier. You're doing a great job, Tom. So you had the guy from the script on. I was trying to think. I know the script. I can't think of one of his songs, though. He seemed like a lovely fella.
Danny from the script. Yeah, Danny. Mate, don't ask me about script songs. I don't know. He's got, what was it called? The Man Who Can't Be Moved.
He had a couple of big hits, though.
The Man Who Can't Be Moved was a good one. And then the Hall of Fame was another good one. He did with Will I Am, I believe. Why is the... I
don't know. You got balloons going on.
Why is the balloons going on?
Because you're the champ, Tom. You've been celebrated everywhere you go. They're like, fucking hell, send him some balloons.
He was good. Danny was really good. He was really into it. And that's something else that I like with the show as well. I think a lot of people, maybe more so in the UK, a lot of people now, they're kind of just getting into it and they don't understand like the ins and outs of techniques and the intricacies of setups and takedowns and switching from transition to position and strikes to takedowns and strikes to kicks and how to set things up. And, just to have the opportunity as well, just to, educate people who don't know about it. It's really nice. And I'm happy to be able to do that a little bit.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Tom, because I think you're involved with it. And if you know what I'm talking about, don't mention it because we're not allowed. I was just a part of a show yesterday and doing a little bit today. Two guys that you know. If you're not, I'll tell you after, but we can't talk about it. And the whole thing is convincing them about how great mixed martial arts and the UFC is, And to your point, what you spoke about, I remember I was on a movie shoot a couple of years ago, and a guy that I made friends with, great guy, and a ton of respect for him. He was like, I don't like it. I don't like it, Mike. It's too violent. It's too dangerous. It's too this. It's too that. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. And the point that I'm making is it's crazy because out here, I'm in Vegas. It's International Fight Week. The whole place is going crazy for UFC. And whilst there's been a massive, massive appreciation and an uptick in the appreciation in the UK, there's still quite a long way to go, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And by the way, I don't know what you're talking about there. You'll have to tell me off camera. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, they said they're going to be hunting you down and maybe talking to you in Manchester. So I thought maybe, anyway, whatever.
Let me know. But yeah, if I can be like, I mean, I don't see myself as like a role model or anything like that. But if I can be like a decent-ish representation and represent our sport a little bit to someone who doesn't, I think that still a lot of people look at it and think, oh, what a load of thugs. Do you know what I mean? And I don't see myself like that, at least. And I see myself as a professional athlete who's, nearly on the top of his game, who's coming into his prime pretty soon. And I spent my life doing this. And if I can educate someone a little bit on that we're not all thugs and we're not, don't get me wrong, we're all tough lads. You know what I mean? We all like a scrap here and there, but we've all got somewhere to channel it towards. Yeah. And that's, it keeps us out of trouble. It keeps us on the straight and narrow. It keeps us in a mentally good place. It keeps us in obviously a physically good place. And yeah, just somewhere to channel your energy towards. And as you said, give people an idea on the intricacies of it all, because it's one of the most technical sports in the world.
Yeah, I was talking to this guy yesterday and I'm like, look, listen, so are you a fan of Olympic sports? He's like, yeah, I am. I said, do you like boxing? He's like, yeah. I said, oh, it's really hard, isn't it? He said, yeah. I said, what about wrestling? Do you have an appreciation for how tough wrestling is? He's like, yeah. I said, what about judo? And we went on and on, taekwondo. I said, well, this is 4 or 5 different Olympic sports. We're just doing them all at the same time. Anyway, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. When I first started with the UFC, I was on the train to London all the time talking to journalists and stuff. And they used to ask me stuff like, can you bring weapons in? I'm like, oh my God, no, you can't bring weapons. And when my first fight at the MEN, I did this, you would have seen her, I forget her name. She's always on like ITV News or weather, she was doing a thing. And she's like, she was talking about me doing the intro and she referred to me as a barbarian. And I said, I'm not a barbarian, by the way. She goes, well, you look like a barbarian. And I had the skinhead and everything. I said, well, I'm not a barbarian. You've just met me. I said, I'll keep my thoughts to you about you to myself. But mutton dressed as lamb does spring to mind.
Yeah, do you know what? I actually had a similar thing recently when I was on. It wasn't a media day for this fight. It was my last fight or the one before. I don't know. When they do your little media tours around the UK and you've got to go and do radio stations, TV shows, and all that. They stuck me in on like some, I don't know, classic music kind of place. And they said, listen, you'll be the ideal person for it. You know what I mean? You're like pretty well spoken. You can speak about the sport, all that kind of stuff. I said, yeah, no problem. Absolutely. One of the first questions the woman asked was something like, how does it feel to make someone else bleed, or something ridiculous like that? And straight away, mate, the UFC staff came in and pulled me out the interview. They said, we don't want to be talking about stuff like that.
Well, because clearly from that point, there's an objective. They're not trying to give it a fair shake. They're going to be critical and they're going to try and paint it in a light, that is not pleasing to their audience. Like I was talking to these people yesterday. I said, listen, you can't skirt around the subject. It's a brutal sport. Of course it is. And it's not for the faint-hearted, but it's also a beautiful sport. It's a tremendous sport. It's very, very tough and all the rest of it. So anyway, anybody listening to this is getting bored of me by now saying how great MMA is. You're a bit of an analyst these days, Tom. You would have been here.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You say this all the time. Tom Aspinall, analyst supreme.
Dabbling in it. That's all.
You're
just starting off.
Dabbler, mate. Dabbling at taking my gigs. Alex Pereira. What do we think about this guy?
Beast. Absolute beast, man. Yeah, big fan. Yeah. Like him a lot. Yeah, he's cool.
What is that? That was a weird answer.
What do you mean? Yeah, I'm being honest. I'm a big fan of his, mate. I think he's really good, and I think, yeah, there's definitely something special about him.
Oh, with that question, I'm sorry. I wasn't sure if you were being sarcastic or what.
No, I'm being deadly serious, mate. I'm being deadly serious. I think big fan of his. Love Yuri Prochazka as well. Absolutely love the fight, and the fact that the UFC have pulled this off on like what 2-3 weeks notice is absolutely insane. They fought on the like we were on the same card the first time in the Madison Square Garden. It was only 6 months ago, and they've made it again. This is wild, and this is why we love the UFC. Like, I'm a massive, massive fan of both guys, and I rewatched the fight a couple of days ago. Pretty close, actually. A lot closer than I remember.
Doing well.
Yeah, I actually think, much like Mike, your fight with GSP. Like, I thought that you and Yuri were both coming back into the fight, and then got stopped.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? You had to throw it. When you lost at MSG and I won at MSG? Well, I thought you were doing well. You were coming back into it, you one-eyed prick. What Pereira's done, though, it's hard not to be a fan of this guy. You know what I mean? Like, just the way he handles himself. I mean, just the other day, leading up to the fight, he's changing an Uber driver's tire and stuff like that. He seems like a really good dude. What he's accomplished is incredible. But I think I've annoyed quite a lot of people on YouTube because I did a little video. I think Yuri, this will be my pick. I think Yuri knocks him out. I think Yuri's going to do it. If Israel Adesanya did it, Yuri can, because he hits like a brick. Of course, that was at 185, so the whole weight cut stuff, it affects your ability to take a shot. But in that first fight, he was landing shots. He had Pereira biting on the feints and stuff like that. I think Yuri pulls it off. But what do I know? What do you think, mate?
Tough to say, innit? It's really, they're both massive punchers. I think the first fight, to me, came down a lot to Yuri Prochazka stands with his legs really wide, and that is susceptible a lot of the time to leg kicks, which Alex Pereira is fantastic at. The calf kicks, chopping away at the thigh, and then that's when he starts to bring that really, really dangerous left hook in that he lands on everybody, and he just seems to I don't know, he almost has like a sleeping pill in his fist. It's wild that when he hits you, that's it, you just goners. And I don't know, but to push for a prediction, I honestly wouldn't be surprised either way. But I always think I think I would lean towards Pereira, to be honest. But you never know. I wouldn't be surprised either way, mate. They're both absolutely insane fighters, both of them. Love watching both of them.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's one of those fights. It can go either way. All fights can, but this truly is one of those that both men have the finishing power. I've just got a feeling Yuri's going to do it, but it's just as likely that Pereira knocks him out again. And that's what makes it a great fight. Let me ask you something, Tom. If 2 weeks before the fight, if you bust your little pinky toe, is that it? Are you calling it off?
What are you talking about, McGregor? Is that what
I knew it. That was a stupid way of segueing.
I don't know. It depends on the circumstances, doesn't it? I mean, I can understand he's on a bad run in McGregor, and he's trying to get back on top. He doesn't want this to be the end. He doesn't want to end like that, and I get that. That's probably why he's does, even with a broken toe, like you say. There's a lot of people who would have continued with that and pushed for the fight, but in his spot, I think it probably is that, because he can call the shots, mate. He's not like one of the other mortals. Do you know what I mean? Like, where they'll just, if you pull out, they'll replace you with someone else. He can just say to the UFC, listen, me and Chandler will do it in December, for example. Or last minute, he might go, listen, I don't want Chandler. Let's switch it over and do something. Like, he can do whatever he wants. And if I could do whatever I wanted, I'd probably do what's right for me.
Yeah, of course. I'm putting these glasses on. I took them off. They look massive in this. They're not this big in real life. You're right, though. You're right with respect to McGregor, because you've got to give him respect. And whenever I said this recently, people were like, why are you defending him? It's like, well, the man has done incredible things, but he has lost 3 out of his last 4. If I'd lost 3 out of my last 4 and I broke my toe, I'd be like, no, bollocks to this. I want to go in 100%, because if he loses to Chandler, the more, will he still have big fights? Will he still sell out arenas? Yeah, of course he will. But then the whole narrative of him being one of the best still presently is done. It's out the window. So it was the right thing. Tom, last week I was in Saudi Arabia. You ever been there?
I've never been out. How was it? I've heard mixed reviews on Saudi.
Yeah. No, the people were fantastic. The people were great. You know I like a beer, though, so that was challenging.
Yeah,
the reason I bring that up, Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov, they were competing. Volkov got the job done. What did you think of that? Did you see it?
Yes, I watched it. Yeah. I wasn't surprised, to be honest. Volkov is he's very good. Also, I think, in my opinion, on heavyweights, it's like if someone's big and muscular and they're winning fights, automatically everyone just buys into it and goes, "Oh my God, this guy's the best heavyweight ever." Do you know what I mean? And that Pavlovich, fair play to him. He was starching everyone. He's a massive guy. He's muscly, he's strong, he's handsome, he's dangerous. Like he's got a lot going for him. But without kicking a man while he's down, he's quite one-dimensional in his skill set. What I mean by that is he walks you down and he throws bombs, and if he lands them, the referee's going to be waking you up. Simple as that. But if you can negate that by overwhelming him with other stuff, being awkward, using your footwork, potentially using your wrestling, using your kicks like Volkov did, switching stances, staying off the centre line, there is success to be had with him. And that's exactly what we saw with Volkov. Volkov's had about 500 fights. You know what I mean? He's an absolute veteran of the sport, and he's not going to be intimidated by, a dangerous prospect like Sergey Pavlovich.
You put that perfect, Tom, so I'm not going to add anything to it, and you're absolutely right in every way. The reason I brought it up, knowing that you're fighting Curtis just around the corner, seeing those guys fighting at a high level, Volkov going out there defeating Pavlovich, and you dispatching Volkov the way that you did, does that, does it fill you with, confidence and pride? Not from an arrogant standpoint, but it's good to see people that you've defeated fighting at the high level and know that you finished them both very quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm going to have to blow my own trumpet a bit here, Mike.
Blow it.
If
you don't, I will. That's what they'll all say.
I finished both guys in under a round, but a combined time of under a round, both of them.
Wow.
Which, I'm going to say that's quite impressive. But yeah, mate, both very good, both elite heavyweights. But it's MMA. It doesn't always add up. Fight mass doesn't add up like that. Do you know what I mean? Just because I've beat somebody easily doesn't mean somebody else will beat, I can beat one guy, he can beat the other guy and then lose to him, and it's all over the place. You know what MMA is like. So I know them guys have trained together a lot before. And it's MMA. Whoever shows up on the night wins. Simple as that. I think we do a lot of these podcasts and we do a lot of the breakdowns, and it's pretty simple. One guy wins and one guy loses. Sometimes it's not always that complicated. Whoever shows up at the best on the night wins, and that's it sometimes. And that's what Volkov did.
Very, very true words. I won't keep you too much longer, Tom. I know you've been training. I know you're tired. Where are you right now? You just pulled in the side of the road?
Yeah, on my way back from the gym, mate. And I just pulled in to chat to you, Michael.
Is your dad in the car?
No, I'm on my own. Look.
Don't lie. You never leave the house without your father.
I do, honestly. I do sometimes.
I'm very surprised. The reason I asked is because will Andy be in the corner in Manchester, and if your hair gets a little messed up, will he be pulling out a comb and giving you a little brush?
What, like that? As an analyst now, that is something that I've never seen before, and I can't explain that either. That was fantastic. Loved it.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Do you think, is he taking the piss? He's got to be taking the piss, Annie.
I don't know, but I had to take the piss on commentary. I'm like, what the is going on? These guys get on the side. They had a legit comb. I'm like, my God. I think they're going to be taking the piss. Do you think they had a laugh about it before?
I'm sure that I could see Volkov let out a little smirk there. trying not to, but he definitely let out. Fantastic.
Oh, dear. Brilliant. All right, Tom, I'll be in Manchester. I'll let you go, mate. I appreciate your time. So you got Pereira winning this weekend. You're, of course, very, very confident. You're going to beat Curtis Blaydes. Then you get to fight John Jones. What is the long goal? Where do you think this is going to take you? When do you think you'll retire? Last question.
That's a difficult subject for me. And I'm fully aware now that I'm in like the second half of my career, let's say. I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning. I'm safe to say that now. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, I absolutely love it. And each fight, I love it more and more. And each day, I love it more and more. I'm doing well. Everything's going good. I'm making money. I'm winning titles. I'm getting finishes. Do you know what I mean? And as long as it's going like that, I'll be sticking around. So I don't really know is the honest answer. I absolutely love and live for this sport. There's not one person in this sport who loves it more than me. And I absolutely love fighting people. Love it. It's everything to me. So to answer the question, Mike, I don't know. But also, I don't want to be one of them guys who sticks around getting knocked out left and right. Do you know what I mean? So when it starts slipping a bit, I might start thinking about that kind of thing. But for right now, everything's going good. And I'm really, really having the time of my life in this sport. So I'll stick at it until it doesn't go that well.
Tom, and that was a beautiful answer, because as you were saying that, I'm sitting there and I'm smiling inside because I felt the exact same way. But you did depress me a little bit.
Go on. Why?
Well, because you said you're in the second half of your fight career. I'm in the second half of my life. Do you know what I mean? It's the days are counting down now. They're not going up. Do you know what I mean? I've got to live to 92 to be able to match this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if I'll make it to 92.
I believe in you, Mike. I reckon your best years are ahead. Your best years are ahead, I reckon.
Damn right they are. Tom, sorry to take up your time. All the best with the rest of training camp. I'll see you in Manchester, mate. Really appreciate your time. Hate to bother you.
Thank you, mate. Cheers, mate. See you in a bit.
All the best, pal. Take care, Tom.